you already know. Get the fuck out of my face now, yeah, you gotta go. Man, I'm on the chase now, leave me on my own. I got a chance to break now, here I fucking go. Take control of fate now, I control my flow. And I know that I'll be great, how putting on a show. I know that I'ma stay loud, drowning out the noise. The haters always thinking that they could fucking break me. They're better off eating their own words like pastries. Hate me, and you better.
Welcome back with another video, and today we have what if Deku had a shiny Charizard. And of course, before we start, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, enjoy. Now, shall we get started? Alright, hopping straight into things, we start off with Deku and Charizard's first day at UA, which at first, everyone meeting up with each other. First introduction basically remained the same. We still meet one of my top 10 favorite characters, Aizawa. That basically goes as in canon with him doing his little test thing, the second entrance exam, you could call it. I forgot what they call it. I think it was practice. No, that was the entrance exams. Yeah, I forgot what he called it. But we're moving on to things anyway. Hopping straight into things. Anyways, hopping straight into the test. Basically, well, Charizard would be taking most of the test actually. Technically qualifying as Deku's quirk, even though it's never, well, technically his quirk is always on. Probably should explain that, and we'll be fine. Anyways, let's hop straight back into the video. Anyways, basically Charizard over here will be basically doing most of the work. I'm passing everything with flying colors, just some things. Some things Deku would do, like probably the side-to-side steps, since Charizard wouldn't be able to fit. Charizard will probably do the one where they had to jump into the pit. I legitimately forgot what it was called. But the ball, though, Aizawa would tell Deku to do on his own, and he would take a while longer, but will still come up with the same thing as in canon, so would, actually, well, basically get the same thing as in canon. That concludes the first day at UA. Time for the battle trial arc. Okay, let's hop straight into this one. Well, as I said before, hopping straight into the battle trial arc. It still begins the same, all my heading in class and teaching for the day. Anyways, like in canon, puts on their hero costumes, and matches still remain the same, so let's hop straight into them. We'll hop straight into the one that changes, which would be Deku, Uraraka, or Charizard versus Bakugo and Ida. Like in canon, Bakugo will come straight down from basically the staircase to attack, well, Charizard actually. And that still leads to basically the same scene as in canon, with her rocket going up to try and get the bomb. And her her scrap with Ito would basically go the same. Well, there is no scrap in the area. And Deku gets ready to fight, and also Charizard. And Bakugo hops straight towards Charizard again, and they basically start fighting for a while. Basically, barely not paying attention to Deku. Anyways, the two start going at it, with Charizard making use of Dragon Claw primarily, and Bakugo uses the explosions to, well, maneuver around Charizard's attacks and attack Charizard at the same time. This leads to Charizard actually getting hit a few times. However, Charizard would also get in his own hits. There even be an explosion and flamethrower collision, which Charizard would actually win and would send Bakugo back. There's really nothing for him to crash into, unfortunately. Could say the walls, but as you've seen before, I much prefer people crashing through trees. Deku, seeing no other option, would go and assist Uraraka and try and help her fight Ida. I don't think he really help in this situation. Unless he would decide to use one for all, but probably wouldn't. But his Zero costume is left in better shape. Actually, I'm quite glad I could go destroy that thing. Anyways, the battle continues between Charizard and Bakugo. With eventually Bakugo using his gauntlets to, well, basically his gauntlet explodes, Charizard like he did against Deku. Charizard would just make a hole in the ground under him to get away from this, and would appear from under Bakugo creating another hole, grabbing him and using seismic toss on him, and basically smashing him through the ground. While this wouldn't knock Bakugo off, it would send him down a few floors, at least giving Charizard enough time to go through more floors to the bomb room and help take on Ida. Once again, Uraraka and Deku the time to touch the bomb and win. So it continues basically second day actually ends the same. So it concludes this arc and most of season 1. Although when everyone's complimented on how cool the fight was, I think more compliments would actually go to Charizard, who once again does most of the work. Should probably stop making that joke, but again, I'll be straight into the next arc, the final arc of the season, that being USJ. Really nothing changes on the bus, right, except for Charizard's there. They would actually have had a hard time fitting him on the bus, and would have created a few holes thanks to his wings and tail. But besides that, the trip is fine. I've been straight to USJ, everything in the beginning remains the same in the battle until the villains attack. That all goes about as in canon. And like in canon, Deku is split up with Sue and Mineta and just Deku. And Charizard is left alone to fight some villains, much like Shoto. With Deku, with Sue and Mineta, the plan will still be made as in canon, although it would take that bit longer since, well, Deku's main guy is kind of missing. Well, not missing, he's not with him. Going through more canon stuff, Aizawa still fights the Nomu. That goes the same, with the Nomu trashing him. Does Aizawa get enough wins during the series? Shigaraki still tries to decay Sue. Deku tries to save her. Nomu still stands in the way, but Aizawa still saves Sue. Deku would attempt to fight the Nomu, but would do nothing. Quickly, his good old buddy Charizard would step in to fight the Nomu. The two would begin to fight, and Charizard is helpless, as in everything he can do to this Nomu doesn't work. His Dragon Claw doesn't penetrate him. I wonder if that came out wrong. His flame doors barely burn him, and any burns he does get, or holes he does regenerate from. So are not holes, the skin that does melt off from him. With the strongest attack being Solar Beam, however, Nomu would regenerate from this easily, and Seismic Toss would basically do nothing, since the Nomu would be too strong to lift, or Charizard would be the one getting tossed. So Charizard eventually faints, or get knocked out. In other words, unable to battle. But luckily, All Might still comes in, and, well, before All Might, Bakugo, Kirishima, and Shoto still come in, but that goes in canon, and All Might later comes in and still has his fight with Nomu. Then the other heroes come in. Basically, the arc basically ends the same from here. And with that one, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to, of course, like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.